Hey guys, so today I have a little bit of a different and more serious video. I have debated whether or not to make this video for such a long time. Pretty much ever since I started to struggle with this, I've kind of debated whether or not to do this video. But here I am. I'm doing it. I feel like this is the right thing to do, to put my thoughts and opinions out there and to kind of tell you guys how I cope and how my struggles and just how I cope with it. But first of all, I wanted to say I don't know if I'm loving this lip with this eye makeup, but this is literally the best lip I can find for this. I've tried so many different lip colors with this eye makeup and I feel like nothing's really looking right, but you know what, we're just gonna go with the flow and just deal with it because I don't know what else to do. And this one looks the best out of every single one that I've tried, but this is not a makeup video, so enough about that. But today, this is going to be kind of like a story time on how I kind of found out that I had anxiety, and my first big, I hate the word anxiety attack, I don't like the word attack, or panic attack, but I guess that's kind of what it was, and kind of when I realized this was serious and this is something that I'm really struggling with. So I'm going to backpedal a little bit and kind of start when I was really young. I have always had, or I've always been, I guess I could say, I've always been an anxious person. I've been anxious about everything. I used to be so nervous as a little girl, just I got nervous about everything. I was always worrying about stuff. I constantly was scared to get up and do things. I didn't like a lot of social situations freaked me out. And as a little girl and as a kid, you just think okay, well, I'm nervous, and you don't really tell anybody about it. And especially when you're that young and you're in elementary school and middle school, people are always oh, you're just being dramatic, or I mean, even to this day people say that. But when you're really young, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of you don't really know what's going on with your feelings, and you don't really understand how you're feeling, so it's more difficult when you're younger and when you're little. So I always worried, I always was nervous, I hated going up in front of the class, and I know everybody hates it, but my hatred for stuff like that was so extreme that I would think about it this the second that I found out, even if it was 3 months ahead of time, whether it was going to the dentist, or I had a school play, or I had a chorus production, I constantly worried about it from the second I found out until the second that I started doing it, or the second it was over. I was always worried about it. It didn't matter what it was. It could be anything, any kind of social situation for the most part, or just situations I don't like in general. So I don't know, it's just everything made me nervous. And I thought it was just normal. I thought that I just was a nervous person, and I thought I just worried a lot. Actually, as a young kid, I also thought that as I got older it was going to get better, as I actually went through real life situations that were more tough to deal with, and as I struggled more and actually went through things and had to deal with more social situations, I thought that I was going to it was going to slowly get better, and I was going to learn how to cope with it and deal with it a little bit better. I thought I was going to become a more social person, and I thought I was going to become more aware, and I don't know how to describe it. I just thought I was going to be able to handle it better, and I thought I was going to kind of almost grow out of my nervousness, I guess. And it didn't. As I got older, actually, it got worse. And I'm not saying I can't deal with social situations, I just totally flip out, but I have general anxiety, but I also have social anxiety, and it's so hard to deal with. It's really difficult, especially at my age, where society expects you to be out getting drunk and drinking with your friends and doing things that I'm just not interested in. I've never been that type of person. I don't like to drink. My 21st birthday, I didn't even taking the thought of taking shots with my sisters, you guys, my sisters, people that I love and I care about, and I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm going to try my hardest, but it's going to be difficult. Even that made me anxious, and it made me so anxious before I went to the restaurant that I just like kind of like didn't want to go. Like I didn't even want to go to my own birthday party because I knew it's your 21st birthday. Everybody expects you to take shots, and I did take shots, and it ended up being fine. But it made me so anxious, and another problem that I have is that when I get such bad anxiety, my body is so tense from like everything and all my emotions that I get bad back pain because I am so tense, especially if I've had anxiety for like a day or two. Like my back starts to hurt because I've got so, like my muscles are just so tense and I just can't handle it. Like it's so difficult and my body doesn't know how to react. So all my muscles just tense up and it causes back pain. And all throughout my dinner on my 21st birthday, I had severe back pain. Like it was hurting because I was so tense and I made myself so anxious that it just like tensed up my body. So I'm just at the age where everybody expects me to want to drink all the time and go out and do social things, and that's just not me. And it's very difficult also because a lot of people just don't get it. They don't understand. They just expect you to just love to go out and party and go to clubs and go dancing, and it's just not who I am. It's never been who I am. Whether I have anxiety or not, it's just not something that I'm into. I don't like to drink. I don't do drugs. I never have. I never will. I just don't. It's not me. And that's that. But it makes it difficult, like I said, because everybody in general, whether it doesn't matter who it is, society, family, friends, they just don't understand. And that makes it really difficult. So, how I kind of figured out that I had anxiety, like what kind of triggered that there was something else wrong. It wasn't just nervousness and, me worrying all the time. So in this past April in 2015, this is my actual, like I'm getting into like the actual story of how I kind of realized I had anxiety. I wanted to do something nice for my fiance. He does so much for me and he is such an incredible person and he literally just does everything for me. And I wanted to give something back to him. And this story, I'm just saying, I cannot talk about the story without crying, but I'm gonna try. So I wanted to do something nice for my fiance, and he loves Kevin Hart. He loves stand-up comedy, and Kevin Hart was coming to my area, and my sister got tickets for her husband for his birthday. And like I'm shaking talking about this because it makes me so I don't know. My sister got tickets for her husband to go see Kevin Hart, and I was like, oh my gosh, Matt would love it. I have to get him some. Like I have to figure out a way. Like I've got to go. I really, really want to go. And so I got tickets for the both of us to go, and I really wanted to sit near my sister, but she got her tickets so far ahead of when I got mine that it just wasn't possible. So we got pretty tickets that were like pretty high up because it was in like a stadium, and we were very high up, like in the nosebleed section, because I ordered them really late, and then tickets are expensive, like everything like that. It's just the way it goes. And I was so excited. He was so excited, and it ended up being pretty difficult. When we first got there, I was a little nervous beforehand, like actually getting to the like arena place or the stadium. I was a little nervous going just because of my social anxiety, but I just thought it was like normal. That's just how I usually get, but usually once I'm like entertained or I've got something else on my mind, I'm usually okay. And so we got inside and I was okay, and then all of a sudden like we started walking up to where our seats were, and when we finally sat down there was like nobody in there. And mind you also, we got there 2 hours before anybody even came on and like gave us a show and performed. So I think we got there at about I think 6 o'clock, because I think we sat down at 6 o'clock. I think we got there at 5:30, got in, and got to our seats by 6 o'clock, and the show was supposed to start at 7, and they didn't start until 8. And it was, so we got there, and there was like nobody there, and there were people there, just like not many people, like there wasn't, like, it wasn't full at all. And I was a little freaked out about the height. Like, it was such like a sharp like drop down that it just, something about it did not sit well with me. And I'm not usually like afraid of heights, like I'm not really like that type of person. So my boyfriend was trying to comfort me, and he was like, it's okay, just, you know, don't, whatever, like just relax and it'll be all right. And I was like gripping onto him for dear life, and I was trying to get my mind off of it, but I honestly couldn't. And then any single time that like he moved, like I flipped out and like automatically like got chills all up and down my body, thinking like I was gonna fall. And then I was worried that like if I fell, I was gonna knock somebody else. It was terrible. I was like having the most horrible thoughts the whole time. So it started out really bad because of that, because of the height, which was really weird because, like I said, I don't usually get afraid of heights. Well, my palms were sweaty, my heart was beating fast, I was really nervous. And then like towards like when the show really started to like was about to start, a lot of people came in. It was a completely sold out show, so the whole stadium was completely full. And that's what I expected, but for some reason, like when it was actually happening and people were like gathering and there were so many people and we were so high up and I was like smushed and it was just too many people, it started to really freak me out. So I was like, okay, it'll be all right. Once like the performers get on, like I'll be okay. Like I'll be entertained. It'll be like great because they're gonna make me laugh and I'm gonna have a good time. The first guy came on, it was like pretty funny. Like I was okay. The second guy came on, I was like getting a little bit more anxious, but I was like, okay, I was dealing with it. And then Kevin Hart came on. Mind you, at this point, it was probably like 9 o'clock. So I had sat through an hour of the show, plus, you know, because the people started at 8. I had sat through an hour of like performers before Kevin Hart, and then I had already been there at this point for like 3 hours sitting down in a place that I was actually very uncomfortable. So when Kevin Hart came on, I was trying my best to focus on what he was saying and to focus my attention on him, but I couldn't. And I'm like really like getting shaky thinking about this. We were so high up and my anxiety shot through the roof. As Kevin Hart came on, I had to like focus my attention on the screen at Kevin Hart, and I could only look at one part of his face, or I couldn't draw my attention away from like anything else. I couldn't look to my left, I couldn't look to my right, like I couldn't look anywhere. I had to look in the same spot or else I would immediately feel queasy and feel sick and wanted to run away. So I was trying to get myself to calm down the whole time, and honestly it got so bad where I just honestly felt like I was gonna throw up. Like my palms were so sweaty and I was trying to keep calm the whole time. But another thing that happens when I get anxiety is I constantly think about all the bad things that could happen. And that's typical with anxiety. Like that's what anxiety is. Like you just constantly feel like something is going to go wrong. So I was sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, like I feel really sick right now. Like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Like, and then I also start to like get like an escape route ready. So I start to think about, okay, should I go to the left or should I go to the right? If I go to the right, there's more people, but if I go to the left, there's less people, but the lady beside me is probably gonna get pissed off. Like, I just start thinking all these scenarios in my head about how I'm gonna escape if I absolutely have to run out of there, but oh my gosh, what if I trip on the stairs? Like, all these thoughts come flooding into my head, and I can't stop them. So I was trying to focus on Kevin Hart and like what he was saying and him being funny, but I literally could not force like a smile on my face. Like, I was so scared, unhappy, anxious. I felt sick to my stomach. It was absolutely terrible. So it got to the point where I couldn't even focus. I couldn't even force a smile. I couldn't laugh. And my fiance kept on saying, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. And I hate also when people ask me if I'm okay. It makes me even more anxious because I'm like, wait, am I okay? And I start like checking over myself and like trying to like, you know, what do you call it? Like trigger my senses to see like if there's something wrong. Like which makes me a lot more anxious. So I hate when people ask me if I'm okay. It makes me so anxious. So I was like, yeah, I'm okay. And then like when it got to the point where I really thought I was gonna get sick, like I was so sick to my stomach, you guys, it was insane. I told my fiance, I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And this is where the story kind of gets like a little upsetting to me and makes me kind of teary-eyed thinking about it still to this day. So I told him, I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. And he was like, no, he was like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. And he was like, I'm gonna come with you. And I was like, no, don't come with me, like it's okay, I'm fine. And the reason I didn't want him to come with me wasn't because I didn't want him to come with me. It was just that honestly at that point I was gonna go sit outside and just like literally give myself time and fresh air, and I honestly wasn't planning on going back in the stadium. And I knew that if I went out there, he was gonna stay out there with me and he was gonna miss the show. And that really upset me, and I didn't want him to. I bought the tickets for him to enjoy it, and I wanted him to enjoy his time, and I didn't want my problems to interfere with the show for him and like basically make him have like a bad time. By the way, he's just now getting home, and I don't know if you can hear the car outside, but I can hear the music. Anyways, so I was like, no, please stay here, like I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, I'm okay. And he was like, no, I'm coming with you. And at that point, I could tell by the way he said it, I could tell by the way he was acting, he wasn't gonna let me go by myself. So I went outside and he just automatically knew, and I don't want to cry, but I kind of feel like it's inevitable. We went outside and I immediately started like tearing up and getting really upset with myself, and frustrated with myself, because when you have anxiety and you know you're holding other people back or stopping them from doing something that they want to do and that they love, it really hurts because you know that it's your fault. And although you can't control it and you're not doing it on purpose and you're not trying to make them have like a bad time and you're not trying to like tear things away from them, sometimes it's just like what happens. But you always like feel like it's your fault. So we went outside and I told him, I was like, I can't be in there. I said, it's making me like feel sick. The height is scaring me. Like I keep on playing scenarios in my head of what could happen. And I just can't, like I can't be in there. I said, please go back in, like enjoy it, I'll be okay, like I'll be out here, like I'm literally fine. There's like, I promise you, I'm so much better out here by myself than I am in the show. And long story short, we kind of bickered. We didn't argue, but we bickered back and forth because I really wanted him to go in and enjoy the show, and he wouldn't do it without me. And he said, if you're not gonna go in, I'm not gonna go back because I'm not gonna leave you out here. And we left the place, and as we were leaving, I was really upset. It was really hard for me to leave, and I really wanted him to go back in and finish the rest of the concert and enjoy it. Why do I keep saying concert? And my dog just hit the tripod. I'm so sorry. It was really difficult for me to see him not go back in and enjoy it because I really, really wanted him to. So when we got in the car, I basically completely broke down and just started bursting into tears, like full on crying, like sobbing like a 5-year-old, because I was really upset with myself that I couldn't stay in there, and I couldn't like stay and enjoy it with him. If you have anxiety, like you know how hard it is. Like one of the hardest things that I go through is feeling like I'm stopping people from doing things that they love, especially my fiance, because he's with me 24/7, and because we live together, it's really difficult because I feel like a lot of the times he doesn't get to do what he wants to do because I can't, because I have anxiety, and I tell him to go out and do things on his own and go do it, and he won't do it without me, and it's like, it's really hard. So We left, and I basically cried the whole way home. I just couldn't stop. I felt so terrible. We stayed at the arena for a total of 4 hours, so I stuck it out for 4 hours, but we only got to see Kevin Hart for like an hour, and I felt so bad, and it really like crushed me and really like honestly hurt my heart. He missed like half the show, and I immediately like called my mom on the way home, and I was so upset with myself. My mom was like, just don't worry about it, it's okay. You know, things happen and it's alright, don't worry about it. But it made me feel so terrible. And for the whole rest of the weekend, if I have really bad anxiety attacks or panic attacks where I just freak out, or I just have really bad anxiety in general, like the whole, like for 2 days, like my stomach isn't right, like my whole body is just off, and I like can't do anything. Like I have to recuperate for like 1 to 2 days because I tense up my body so much, and like mentally and emotionally I just like make myself so freaked out and so many other things that I just can't. So I have to just like recuperate. So the whole weekend, like I basically had to stay inside and just like relax. Like that night we went and we got a Redbox movie, and we came home and we just laid in bed and just like relaxed. And I appreciate him so much for that, because he really understands and like helps me as much as he can, because I know it's hard to understand and it's hard to deal with if you don't go through it or you don't know like how it feels. And you know, anxiety is very difficult because you can't see anything physically wrong. Like I can have a smile on my face and I can look like this, have makeup on, a full face of makeup, and I can be feeling so terrible inside. And so it's hard for people to understand, and a lot of people take it as you being dramatic, or they just don't get it and they don't understand it, and that's really hard to deal with. So that's kind of when my anxiety like kicked full force, and I really realized that I had anxiety, social anxiety, general anxiety, and that night was probably one of the worst experiences of my life, and it really sucks because it was supposed to be a really good experience and it just turned out to be horrible. And I did research that night and I started looking up, and something about it, I just knew like this is more than me just being, you know, nervous and worried and things like that. Like this is more than that. And sure enough, you know, I have anxiety and it sucks, and I have been struggling with it, I think all my life, but I feel like this past year, now that I've realized that anxiety is what it is, it's kind of like gotten even worse. It's really hard to deal with. A lot of people don't understand it. I don't talk about my anxiety to really anybody. I talk to my anxiety about 3 people: my sister, my mom, and my fiance. Although even though I talk about my anxiety to my sister and my mom, they don't know still how bad it gets. They don't know half the things that I go through on a daily basis, because I don't like to tell them everything, because it's really hard and I don't want people to worry about me. I know that my mom like really like it hurts her to see me hurting, and she doesn't like it. I don't like to worry her, so I don't, you know, usually tell her when I'm having a rough time. I will sometimes, because sometimes I just feel like I need to talk to her, but I try not to like burden her with it, because also, I mean, she has her own stuff going on, you know, and it's not fair to her. But my fiance is the one that really like sees everything, and I tell him everything, And he lives with me, so it's kind of difficult to hide, because some days when he comes home and I'm just in bed, you know, upset, and, you know, I have been crying all day, and I'm in a very depressed state, you know, he knows. And I can't really hide that from him because, like I said, we live together. But I don't really know where I'm going with this video. I don't want this video to be way too long, even though I know it already is. But I basically just wanted to tell you guys, like, how I first started to realize that I had anxiety. And this is my story on that. I mean, I've got so much more to say, and I could say so much more about my anxiety, but this video would literally be like 10 hours long. So, that's my anxiety story, and that's kind of how I found out that, like, I really have anxiety, and this isn't just something little, this is something big, and this is something that seriously is affecting me. And, you know, another reason I don't tell that many people is because a lot of people, just like I said, if you can't see it, like, something physically wrong with somebody, like, a lot of people just think that you're full of crap, or think that you're being dramatic, and they don't understand it. But if people could just see what's going on in my mind on an everyday basis, like, sometimes I wish I could just be like, here, like, look at my brain for, like, just, like, even, like, an hour, and, like, you'll understand that this is something serious that I'm going through, and I'm not being dramatic. Like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to have anxiety. I don't choose to be like this. This is just how I am, and I can't help it. And although I know that, you know, how I'm acting, and, you know, how I'm dealing with things, and how I think that things are happening aren't, you know, as bad as they seem, like, I can't get myself, and I can't wrap my brain around the fact that I'm not in danger. So, like, at Kevin Hart, like, even though I would know I was being ridiculous, I know I'm okay, I know nothing's gonna happen, like, I'm fine, I'm safe, like, I know that, but, like, my brain still, like, it won't believe that. So it's really difficult, and it's, like, constant battle with myself, because I'm constantly trying to get my mindset into a better place and just be like, you're fine, you're okay. Like, I have to talk myself out of leaving so many situations. It's unbelievable. Because the second that my anxiety kicks in, like, for me, I automatically start feeling sick. Like, I automatically start feeling nauseous. Typical symptoms of anxiety are, like, you start getting sweaty palms, which I do that. Your heart races. You're not, like, breathing, or your breathing's really irregular or really fast, or you just basically don't breathe at all. So, and you can also, like, it also will cause you sometimes to feel sick, and that's definitely my case, is I automatically feel nauseous, which makes me have even more anxiety, because I'm like, okay, I just gotta get out of here. Like, I feel sick, I just need to go home and, like, relax and just, like, chill out. So I have to talk myself out of so many situations. It's a little bit ridiculous, and it's unbelievable, but it's just my life. I remind myself that it's just a phase, and it will pass, and there are better things and better days coming, and I just have to keep a positive attitude about it. So, yeah, this video was extremely hard for me to make, and if you have any negative comments or anything, just please don't. Please don't. I have and deal with so much negativity as it is within my own mind. I don't need extra negativity in my life. I have to stay positive. I have to remain positive. I'm not being dramatic. This is really, truly my life, and I'm sorry if you don't understand it or if you don't get it, but this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And if you are struggling with this, please just know you're not alone, and that there are so many people struggling with you and that have this problem, and you're not alone. There's so many people out there with this. And we just have to remember to just keep fighting for, you know, ourselves, because that's all we can do. And it's really hard, and it takes time. and we may not understand it in the moment, but things will work out, and we just have to remember to keep on pushing ourselves. So yeah, if you guys want any other story time videos or videos about my anxiety or anxiety in general, or maybe I could do like a video on how I cope with my anxiety and little tricks that I do if I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack or an anxiety attack. And like I said, I use that term very loosely. I hate the word attack. Like, I don't like that. But if I feel a lot of anxiety coming on, I could definitely do a video on how I cope with that and how I kind of deal with that situation in the moment. So I hope you guys liked my first like story time video. I know it was kind of all over the place and it kind of got off track of the story time, but it's more of like a backstory as well as just like how I kind of found out that I had anxiety and how I kind of like realized that that's what it was. But anyways, please leave comments in the comment section down below if you guys have any comments or questions about this. Or you could message me if you have any personal stuff that you don't want out there. I would be more than happy to talk to people about this because I know it's not easy to tell people that you have anxiety. I mean, I've told like a total of like 3 to maybe 4 people that I have anxiety. I just don't talk about it to anybody. I know how hard it is, and I know how difficult it is to tell people, but I also know how difficult it is if you're dealing with it by yourself. So please talk to somebody, and like I said, if you don't feel comfortable talking to anybody in your personal life, please message me. And I will seriously try to get back to you and be a friend to you to help you through your situation because I know it's really difficult to deal with. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this first storytime video of mine. If you guys want more, please just leave comments in the comment section. And also give me your requests on like makeup looks and other things like that you guys want to do or you guys want me to do. I am getting back on my filming routine. I filmed like 4 videos in the past 2 days. So yesterday and today I filmed like a total of 4 or 5 videos, so be looking for those videos, but I will be back to my normal routine soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.